Hey guys, my name is Tamara and I am gardening on an 18 by 18 patio in central North Carolina. I just wanted to get on here and introduce myself. I wanted to start this channel because as I've been doing research and just watching a lot of YouTube videos of my own, I keep finding videos about people with small gardens, small spaces, but what that means a lot of the time is they just have a small yard. They still have land, they have room for big, 4 by 8 or even 2 by 4 garden beds. I don't even have that space. So, little background, I live in a townhome. We have a beautiful patio out back, but it's all concrete, and I'll show you guys kind of what I'm working with in a second. We also have some obstacles that make it a little trickier, like our AC unit is on the patio, which is annoying because that just makes a really awkward space to work with. But I've been really determined to do some gardening, especially now with groceries getting so much more expensive. I want to try to maximize our space, and it's really been a big mental health thing for me. Sadly, earlier this year, about a month and a half ago, it was January 14th, it's May 4th now, or March 4th. Getting a little ahead of myself here. It's March 4th now. My cat passed away. She and I had a very, very special connection. She picked me. I know a lot of people have stories like that, but she picked me, and it's been really difficult, really, really difficult for me. So one of the added things with my garden this year is that it's been a little bit of something to kind of take my mind off of that. So in addition to the benefits of saving money with growing some of your own food, it's also just been a really good escape for me. I love being outside, so I'm a little nature kid. I grew up in upstate New York, and my parents have like 50 something acres, mostly wooded. I am much younger than my siblings, so I kind of considered myself an only child. And living in the country, there weren't neighborhood kids to go play with, so I spent a lot of my time by myself with my dog outside, just running through the woods. So I've always felt very comforted and very just connected to nature. So just to kind of give you a little start with my gardening journey. So we've been in this house since 2021, and I had to go look through my photos to kind of get to remind myself of what I've done each year and what I've been working with. So it looks like 2022 may have been our first year gardening. Although kind of thinking back to even before then, I know I've always wanted to garden. Right after I graduated college, I planted a bunch of herbs. And this was up at my parents' house in New York. And when I got the job that I got in North Carolina and I moved down, I literally drove the 12 hours with like 15 pots of herbs in my car. I realize now it probably would have just been easier to leave those with my parents and get my own down here, but hey, I did what I did. And so I was just in an apartment. I had those, didn't really go very well. I tried composting without doing any research about composting. I just had a bin that I drilled holes in and threw food scraps in, and I ended up with a lot of cockroaches. So please learn from my mistakes. Don't do that. This was all like 15 years ago. I look back on it now and I'm like, I was so naive. And then after that, I moved into a different apartment, and I was on a ground floor. And I had tried planting some stuff in the like soil behind, because I was in a unit on the back end that just kind of face the woods. So I did that, but everything just washed out after a rain. So that kind of went went down the drain. And then I my husband and I moved into a 2-bedroom apartment, and that one we had a patio, but it was completely shaded. So we had some flower pots. Always had a pot with like a hibiscus plant. I always thought those were really pretty. And then just some of those little planters you could hang on a fence, but nothing fancy, not trying to grow any vegetables or herbs, just some flowers to make it pretty outside. When we moved here in 2021, I don't think we did anything the first year. The first photos I have are from 2022. And I know when we first started, we did a lot of just, we did the go to Lowe's, go to Home Depot, see what looks interesting, buy it, and see what happens. And looking back at the photos, I actually had a lot more successes than I remember. I can go into more detail about what exactly I grew in those years and how things went. But I actually got some stuff, some successes. I remember thinking that first year or two of gardening, how funny it was that you would put all this money and time into it and get like one little cherry tomato and a couple string beans. I got a little more than that, but it would be fair to say that the yields weren't great. um, 2023 was the first year that I started planting from some seeds. So I remember being at a local co-op grocery store, Weaver Street Market, if you're in the Triangle and Triad area. Love that place. I saw a packet of cat grass and I loved the illustration on it. And I said, let's get this um, for our cats, because they would come out on the patio and always try to eat the grass that was coming under the gate door. So I got that, and Botanical Interest has great marketing. I love their seed packets. So I started looking at all of them and I was like, oh, I could grow this, and oh, I could grow that. So I started growing from seeds. And it looked like I had some moderate success that season. I remember a lot of things working, a lot of things not working. 2024, so that was 2023. 2024 was a bit of a rougher season. I was actually pregnant, due in June 2024. So I think we just bought some plants and hoped for the best. I had no idea how we were going to feel. Um, and so it just kind of was what it was. We had other things on our mind then, and other things we had to take care of. So our son kind of took up all our time that summer. Last year, I didn't do a great job planning. So 2025, I did not do a great job planning. I just kind of threw seeds in some places in the spring. I was really late with spring planting. I remember I planted beets and leeks and stuff like that, but it got hot really quickly. If you're in North Carolina, you know that by the time April and May hits, it already feels like summer. We have a very small spring window. So a lot of the stuff just did not make it. And then in the summer, I think I did like beans and cucumbers. And last summer was the first summer I really kind of started trying a bunch of different things and thinking a little harder about what I was doing. And in the fall, that was the time I actually did some seed starting, with some broccoli and kale and cabbages, and everything was looking really good, but I got hit so hard by cabbage worms. I was so annoyed. Like, I was literally outside every day picking worms. Hello, little fly. Picking worms and worms and worms. It was so disappointing. So I got a little bit of broccoli, but most of the broccoli and kale and cabbage was just completely destroyed. So that brings me to the 2026 season and kind of how I'm approaching it. I can go more in depth with my plan in another video, but some of my goals this year have been to Number one, maximize my space. So really plan out how I can use the very little space that I have. Number two, figure out how to control pests. So I've really done a lot of planning around these cabbage worms, because looking back in some of my photos from several years ago, I've gotten them before. So I know that I'll probably get them again, and I really want to try to avoid that. And so kind of going along with that, I'm focusing more on flowers this year in addition to the vegetables. So I never really thought about it. I had a few flowers here and there, not mixed in with the vegetables, just in separate pots for something pretty. I have one large pot that I use that I put a shepherd's hook in and hang a bird feeder on. So that one I always put flowers in, because I don't want bird poop and bird seed getting all over something I'm going to eat. So that was pretty much the only place I had flowers. Never thought of mingling the flowers with all the vegetables. So it's something I'm working on this year. So let's go check out the space that I'm working with. So if I'm going over the space that I have, this is coming out from the house. So I have some, you'll notice a large collection of things and I'll kind of go over what I started with and what I've added on. So the first year we had these beds. They're called like patio pickers or something like that. And we got those at Lowe's. I want to say they were maybe $40 or $50 each. And we've had them for 4 years now, and they've served well. They're a little small, and you'll see I have them actually raised up on cinder blocks here. And then we have like a smaller version here. So I measured them. They're, I want to say 18 by 22. So they're not huge, but the nice thing is they are self-watering. So they have these tubes here that you put the water in. And so they've worked really, really well because of that. Our patio gets a lot of direct sun, and if you live in North Carolina, you know how hot it can get in the summer. So that self-watering feature has been great. So we had the two little ones. These ones are like 11 by 22. It's the same length, I want to say, but half the width. So we have 2 of those and then 4 of those. That's pretty much what we started with, as well as some smaller pots. I have this thing here that usually has some hanging pots. They're under here right now with a bunch of junk in them. So just kind of a bunch of random pots. The following years, we added some of these smaller pots. These are about 12-inch pots. And then we have some big pots like this. Those are like 18 to 20 inches. We have a couple more over here. Those are from Costco. And then last year we added this cedar bed from Costco. This is another self-watering bed. And that is really, really great. So last year I was gifted one green stalk planter, and I got another one for my birthday this year. So last year I just had the one. It did not go well, but it was user error. Number one, I had it over here where there is like almost no sun. I didn't have the wheels, so I couldn't move it, and I was also really stupid and I used raised bed soil instead of potting mix like they recommend. So the stuff I put there in the spring and summer just didn't grow very well. And then I put kale in there in the fall, but that also got eaten by cabbage worms. So it was just kind of a whole everything. But I wanted to give it another shot, and I got another one. And you can see I already have a little bit of stuff planted in those, so I'll go over that another time. I actually do have 2 more of the 3-tier ones. Greenstock had a sale. I went to go buy the wheel things, the wheel bases, and they were having a sale of those 3-tier planters where you could buy one, get one free. And I was like, yes, please. So I got 2 of those. So I still have to get those set up. So I will be doing that today and doing some more planting because it is the first nice day in quite a while. Another thing I forgot to mention was I got some grow bags. That's new this year too. I apparently had those on my Amazon wish list, which I totally forgot about, and my sister got them for me for my birthday. So I'm trying out some potatoes this year. We will see how that goes. So if you're still here, thanks for watching. That's just a little introduction to me, kind of my story, my journey, and what I'm working with so that you can see, you know, someone who's working with a little less space and no land whatsoever. So if you're in a similar situation, or if you're just curious to see what that is like, go ahead and hit subscribe, hit that like button, and we'll see you next time. Keep growing where you are.